Lifting the second division trophy was just a rehearsal. 2 years later, Strachan paraded the league championship itself. 4 points clear of Manchester United, they'd won the title in only Wilkinson's 4th season in charge, and the fans were boisterous in their acclaim of a new hero.
If you examine his contribution in the season we won the championship, it's nowhere near as significant as has been written since. I mean, it's Russian history. I know some of the boys were slightly offended when it was referred to as Cantona Championship. Eric made a very, very useful contribution. He was a good trainer, he was a good member of the team, and one hell of a player. At the end of the day, he made 7 appearances that season.
That time when we were going right into that little, you know, the tickly bit at the end, when the games were very close, and he changed the crowd. You know, the crowd, you know, they loved him. They loved the way, the swagger, the confident air that he brought. And maybe when other players were just starting to say, oh, you know, it's looking like a 0-0 here, I think he lifted the whole of Ellen Road as soon as he'd just come on the pitch. And he was, you know, so looking back, you know, Howard Wilkinson used them perfectly.
April the 26th, 1992. The title agonisingly close, and Leeds had a morning kick-off at Sheffield United.
We were very tense. We knew that we were on the verge of something great. We never ever dreamed that we'd be in that position. We thought runners-up was the best we possibly could do, but that's really what we were aiming for. There was too much tension in that game, but incredible sequence of events that happened, and as I say, the winning goal, it was just so bizarre, absolutely bizarre. It was just meant to be.
Brian Gale's own goal gave Leeds a thrilling win. That afternoon, rivals Manchester United lost at Liverpool. Leeds were champions.
I had convinced myself in my mind that we were going to have to go to the last game of the season. I convinced myself in my mind that Manchester United would get a result against Liverpool, and so I prepared myself for another week's work.
Destiny was knocking at the door, but Gordon Strachan, for one, wasn't taking any notice.
But I just met my family, and we went to the Holiday Inn, and the kids splashed about in the pool and bits and balls, and sat and had a cup of tea. And I told people, look, there's the games on the telly, but don't come and see me till the end of the game.
Across the face of the goal, Houghton! It's in there by Walters!
I don't know, but 3 or 4 months then, somebody come and say it's 2-0 in Liverpool now, and that was it. I knew we'd won then.
And now the title goes to Leeds United without any doubt at all.
We were watching it, we didn't sink in, we were subdued because we couldn't quite believe it. You know, we knew we'd won the championship, but it didn't sink in really until that evening when we went out into Leeds City Centre, and it was just mayhem, absolute mayhem.
The manager was busy having a meal. Television at the dinner table wasn't allowed in the Wilkinson household, so it was down to son Ben to pass on the news.
Wandered down the stairway and into the dining room and said, I think we've just won the championship, Dad. Everybody immediately left the table and left me sitting there eating my Yorkshire pudding.
The thing I can remember was that Alex Ferguson's interview, I might be wrong here, but he was going down the road of that we hadn't won the league, that Manchester United had lost the league. Which is nobody, it was hard to take that, because to go a full season and only lose 4 games, you've done something right. So, you know, you know a true winner when they don't take defeat that well. You know, and that's what Alex Ferguson is. You know, he's went on from then to win many good things, but he still didn't like to accept defeat, did he?
The following season obviously was a disappointing season all round. We were expected to do great things, virtually just escape relegation, really by the skin of our teeth, which was a disaster. And the European Cup campaign was very disappointing. Although, I must admit, I think the game against Rangers, although it was a big turning point in our season, I think after that we just went downhill rapidly. I think we should have won that tie over 2 legs. We were winning 1-0 with a great strike from Gary McAllister. The whole place was deadly silent.
And a brilliant start for Leeds, Gary McAllister.
My dad was at the game, and he really shouldn't have been at the game, but he got invited by Adidas because there was a ban on Leeds fans. And when we scored, they jumped up, and the stewards come for him. says, you need to leave, you're a Leeds fan. I says, no, I'm not a Leeds fan, I'm a Hibs fan. So I'm just happy that Leeds have scored.
Well, it's up to Lukic. Oh, and he's twisted it into his own net!
Unfortunately, we had the John's mistake, John Wilkinson's mistake, and we had that game in control. And unfortunately, John, one of his very rare lapses, punched the ball into his own net, and all of a sudden, that was when the whole tide changed.
And McCoy!
We got beat with a better team over two games. Rangers were on a right high, and we had started that slope down, and we couldn't stop it. We changed as a group. Our priority seemed to be elsewhere. There was people being on telly more, there was talk of bigger houses, bigger cars. The emphasis wasn't on winning football every week, I thought.
On the next edition of Leeds, life comes to a standstill at Stansted.
We just a lucky night. We could have taken off in our aircraft, and our families all asleep in bed and probably told that we've been killed. But we got lucky.
And living the dream. Big ambitions fueled by big spending.
When we agreed the deal, I didn't sleep from that day till real signing, because I realised the enormity of spending that sort of money on one player.